I'm Salatan and I'm going to report about intercultural communication. Intercultural communication is the sharing of information among people from various cultural backgrounds so that they can understand and appreciate the differences in culture that exist between those from various racial and ethnic backgrounds. So, intercultural means exchanging ideas, messages, or information between people who come from different cultures. So, these differences includes the language, beliefs, traditions, values, and ways of behaving. So, the goal is not just to talk, but to understand and respect each cultural differences so that communications become clear and more meaningful. And it also helps avoid misunderstanding and builds good relationship among people from different backgrounds. So according to Chen and William Starus the 2000, intercultural communication is not just about exchanging words or using body language. So it also involves understanding and interpreting these verbal and nonverbal cues based on the cultural backgrounds of people involved. So this means that the same gesture, tone, or expressions may have a different meanings in different culture. So therefore, effective communications requires individuals to be aware of their own cultural biases, assumptions, and possible prejudices. So at the same time, they must remain open-minded and respectful toward cultural differences of others. Misunderstanding can be reduced and communications become more effective. Kana bitang like for example kanang naay usa ka estudyante coming from the Philippines. So karang like for example, ang katong estudyante is ning smile siya or ning avoid siya direct contact sa like for example nag-istorya sila sa maestra. Karang dili siya mo eye to eye contact sa teacher ba. So as a sign of respect. So however, kung sa United States or sa other country ang ilang ma-misinterpret nila ang point sa ato karang dili siya mo eye to eye contact is sa ila is kaning bitong interpret this behavior as a lack of confidence or honesty. So since direct contact is often expected in their culture kay mo man na ilang naanad jud dapat kung mag-istorya ka sa tao as a sign of respect is eye to eye nato. Pero kita, some of us is dili ta mo eye to eye sa tao is to mo po na ta ang way of sign of respect. So instead of making quick judgment, individuals should consider the cultural meaning behind behaviors and remain respectful. So dapat inaana ta and kana bitong dali ra kita quick judgment dayon ta. Dapat is open-minded ta and be respectful to avoid misunderstanding. So according to Lastig and Koister 2019, cultural awareness means recognizing and understanding that people from different cultures think, behave, and communicate in different ways. So it also involves being aware that these differences can influence how messages are sent, received, and also to interpret. So example, uh, gestures, tone or voice, or even silence may have different meanings depending on a person's cultural background. So, like for example sa tua, kanang kita is magstorya ta sa mga elders is mag-use ditag po or opo. So, when speaking to elders as a sign of respect. So, however, someone from the Australia may not use such honorifics and might speak more directly without directly kada itong direct lang sa mister sa mga elders. So without cultural awareness, this direct way of speaking can be seen as disrespectful by Filipinos. Kung kita makadungog ta or madungog na to nang nasa ba siya, uy kuan kay sa mister sa tigulang ba dapat dapat na enjoy kanang respect nga mapakita sa ilang pagstorya. So sa tuwa is atong paglantaw is disrespectful, pero sa ila is normal na sila it because mo na ang ilang culture or a way of communicating. So, by improving cultural awareness, people can overcome challenges and cross-cultural communication. So this also helps reduce misunderstanding, build respect, and create stronger and more meaningful relationships with individuals from diverse backgrounds. So in short, cultural awareness allows people to communicate more effectively and form positive, productive, and connections despite of cultural differences. Before you start communicating, you must first ask yourself, so why ngano ako man siya gibuhat or unsa akong gustong mahitabo. So, knowing your exact purpose or objectives is the foundation of all successful communication. So, dapat before ka mag-communicate, kabalo jud ka kung unsa imo ang purpose, kung unsa imo ang ah, goal nga mahitabo. So, if you are unclear about your goal, your message will likely be confusing or dili siya mahimong effective kay wala man ka ikaw mismo is wala ka kabalo kung unsa imo ang gusto nga ma-achieve ana sa imo ang pakig-istorya. So, before you speak or before you communicate, know first is very important is know your audience. So, dapat kabalo ka kung kinsa imong kaistorya, kung kinsa imong mga who you are talking to. Dapat kabalo ka kung about sa ilang unsa ilang cultural backgrounds, language, ilang mga language, level of education para maka-adjust ka kung saon nimo sila pag-communicate. Like for example, na kay audience or imong kaistorya is dili siya fluent in English. So dapat imong mga gamiton nga mga vocabulary words is katulang yung mga sayon para sa ila nga masabtan. And also, maka-adjust ka kung saon pag-deliver sa imong mga words. Dapat hinahinay lang para dili sila ma-confuse ba, dili lang misinterpret kung sa imong buot pasabot. So dapat kabalo ka sa ila ang dapat kabalo ka isa imo ang audience kung kinsa sila. Choose the appropriate media. So pick the best way to communicate depending on the situation. Face to face, email, chat, or video call. So example, if the messages is important or might be misunderstood, it's better to talk in persons or via video call rather than just sending a text messages. Para jud sure ba nga magkasinabot jud mo. Labi nag-importante kayo ang inyong pag-istoryahan. When you are going to communicate, avoid using jargon, acronyms, or technical terms that your readers might not understand. So dili ka mo gamit og mga terminologies nga kanang imong audience is wala sila kasabot, kanang dili common sa ila ba. So instead, you use a straightforward language para sila kanang clear sa ila. Using the right nonverbal cue is important in communication because body language, tone of voice, and facial expressions can communicate beyond spoken words. So, in communications, it is important nga ato bitong importante po atong facial expressions, atong tones, atong tingog. So this cue help reinforce the message and show the speaker's emotions, attitude, and also the intentions. So in intercultural communications, nonverbal signals may have different meanings depending on the cultural background. So, lahi-lahi po ang ibig sabihin sa mga nonverbal nga mga kuan sa indifferent culture. So, it is important to use them carefully and appropriately. For example, maintaining eye contact may show confidence and honesty. But some cultures, while in others, it may be seen as disrespectful. Dapat mindful po ta sa itong mga panggamiton ng mga nonverbal. So, therefore, being aware of and using appropriate nonverbal cues help avoid misunderstanding and make communications effective. Dapat kabaluta. So, ensuring that your message is understood is an important part of effective communication. So, this can be done by asking questions to clarify any mga confusions, doubts, or misunderstanding during the conversation. So the speaker can confirm whether the listener has correct interpreted the message. So dapat mag-end ang inyong istorya by asking questions para make sure nga nakasabot jud sila ba, mas na-interpret nila og sakto ang imong gi-istorya. So follow up after the conversation is essential to address any remaining concern or questions. This help reinforce uh, understanding and shows that the speaker values clear and meaningful communications. So asking clarifying questions and conducting follow-ups help prevent miscommunications and strengthen mutual understanding between the individuals. And that's all for my report. Thank you.